you know, all of the above. It's sort of, you know, I write about the human condition. It's all I know. So for me, it's sort of an exorcism. I get to sort of express things that are, you know, just running around my head and my heart. And I think when I do that, because I try to be as honest as I can about the subject matter, for some people, they can relate to it. So then they get, hopefully, something from it as well. That's the plan, anyway.
Until you find me, I might as well be lost in Hollywood or London.
Wow, these are brilliant questions. Sorry. Well, I mean, in a way, you want to, you know, you want to do something fresh and something that's new. But for me, you know, music that tries to be sort of innovative just for that reason, like, you know, there's no content behind it. It just wants to do something that no one's ever heard before. It can sometimes leave me cold, but I think if you can find a balance between the two, where you say something that maybe people have heard before, but you wake them up by saying it in a new way, then hopefully you know, it registers.
Endless dreams. You say you're doing okay, but your face.
Should it have a mathematical structure? No, absolutely not. I mean, I can only speak for myself, but music by people like Sigur Rós, there's no rhyme or reason to their music, and I don't even understand what Jonesy is singing about, but it registers with me, and it hits me like right in the stomach. I think there's room for everything, and you know, I don't know how to read music. I don't know the rules of music, and I think in a way that's allowed me to sort of just trample over fences and just try, you know, so it just broadens the horizon for me.
Where did you get
These material, like more than acting or more than dance, you know, you don't need a lot to express yourself through dance. You know, he's Aristotle, so no, I don't agree with him. I don't, because it's one man's opinion, and I know he's regarded as a great thinker, but at the same time, art is art, and you choose whatever format that you want that allows you to express yourself in the most free way. For me, I actually think dance, because you don't need anything, and it's something that I love. I love dance. Yeah.
I might as well be lost in Hollywood.
I like Glenn Gould. I think he's incredible, and he is a perfectionist, you know. You know, it's so individual. If somebody needs perfection to feel that sense of release, and to get to that point where they feel like they've expressed themselves, then that's their path. Some people can just, you know, bang on a tin can, and they get joy and a release out of that. So it's really just each to their own, I think. Do you know, I'm still trying to figure that one out. When I started out playing music, I had a very definite idea of what success was. And for me, it was recognition, and to have as many people as possible with my CD in their car stereo, or, you know, in their house. And I was incredibly ambitious. But it's changed massively for me. Now it's about creating music that I love, and sort of, it sounds cliche, but really, truly staying true to myself. I've tried to take the shortcut to what I thought was success, and it left me feeling quite empty. So again, for me, because it's all subjective, to be able to make a living in this day and age with art, and not having to have a 9-to-5 job, being able to do something that brings me some sort of sanity, then I feel like I'm doing pretty okay. Just the chaos that comes with playing a song when you mean it, and then having to sing it 100 times when you don't, because you have to do, for my first album I toured 2 years, and in 1 year I played 169 shows, and I found myself not having anything left to give, but yet I still had to go through the motions of looking like I was giving. That exhausted me, and I just thought, I'm going to play music and write music and keep it as a pastime. And I did that for 2 years, and then I kind of got my energy back and decided to give it another go.
Well, our party's almost over. Why don't you stay just a little?
Yes and no. Sorry for being so vague, but it is. It depends on, if you're pushing an emotion out, if you're forcing an emotion out of yourself while you're playing a song, it's going to leave you drained. And that's something that I've learned just through, performing. It's not really about forcing it, it's about containing it. And so the rest of your day, taking it easy, so that you do have it when it comes to being on stage, and making sure you don't just throw your energy out all the time. So you keep it concentrated, so you're not forcing it on the stage. It's just there at a nice sort of level. I think competitiveness is really good. It's really good as long as it's at a certain level and it doesn't overpower and dominate, because then you're really in trouble. But for me, collaborating, it's really important. Before I wasn't into the idea, and now I do collaborate because you're sort of exercising a different creative muscle. Somebody will, suggest something you would never normally do, and you do it just to see where it goes, and 9 times out of 10 I'm sort of blown away by, in a way, my arrogance at the start to think that it wouldn't work. If somebody suggested making a song super happy, and I'm like, no, I don't do that. And then I'll go down that road and they'll suggest a banjo and whatever, and it's really humbling when you realize that you sometimes subconsciously put limits on yourself creatively, and collaborating allows you to kind of, tear those down.
I'm just waiting for you to leave my mind.
Well, I don't really think I've ever written a sad song. There's melancholy, which I think is different to sad, and serious. I don't know if I've written a serious song, because serious to me sort of conjures up this idea of no joy in the song at all, So melancholy and hope, that's sort of what I try to work with in my music, and there is a thread of melancholy, and sometimes when you're expressing something that would be seen as sad, that expression in itself is hopeful,
Closer than I've ever been. I'm just waiting for you.
I'm 35, and you think about having kids and all that, and I'm going, having kids, what does that mean in terms of my music? I'm going to have to bring a kid to school and collect them, and I'll have a routine that will be very sort of, in a way, kind of 9 to 5. And I don't know. I think settling is a state of mind. I think you can have a 9 to 5 job and not be settled in your head. Do you know what I mean? You can still do things and enjoy life. So with music, I've met musicians that are quite jaded and settled, So if you can remain slightly unsettled in a good way, open to stuff, and a musician, it's great. But I don't know if being a musician necessarily keeps you unsettled. It just keeps you moving, which is a different thing.
I'm still waiting.